Before we dive in, a quick recap for those of you who doesn't know the story. Pinchas was a priest who lived in the wilderness period. At that time, the Israelites were in the midst of a profound moral crisis. They had fallen into a trap of idol worship and immorality, and a deadly plague breaks out. Pinchas decides not to wait, and he takes a very extreme action. He grabs a spear and kills a couple who were sinning publicly. The plague immediately stopped, but here is the crazy part. As a result, God gave him the greatest gift a human being could receive, the covenant of peace. So the Torah portion of Pinchas confronts us with something that seems entirely and incompletely logical. How is it that a person who takes life in an act of zealotry and violence receive the greatest gift from God? How can that be? Last week, in the portion of Balak, we saw how the attempt to curse us from the outside failed. But where did we fall? We fell from the inside. At the end of the Balak, the people of Israel fell for the lowest ego trap, the idol worship of Baal Peor. In our terms, it means that when we take our lowest, most selfish urges and start justifying and sanctifying them. The result? A plague, an eternal chaos. The system crashes. And then comes Pinchas. And of course, Pinchas is not just an historical figure. Pinchas represents a force that exists in each and every one of us. Pinchas symbolizes the moment of awakening, the moment that we realize that our ego, the desire to receive for ourselves is ruining our lives. And we take a spear and we cut through the lies. Pinchas doesn't murder people inside of us. He slaughters our illusions, the excuses that disconnect us from the truth, from our higher self and from God. Because true peace and inner wholeness only comes after we agree to amputate the ego, to cut what poisons us. So when Pinchas does this, he surrenders his soul. He let go of who he was in order to be reborn. And that is why he receives the covenant of peace. Brit Shalom. Well, this is of course not that simple. After all, we are talking about violence and killing, but that's a topic for another video, one that will explore reincarnation, because Pinchas is considered to be a reincarnation of Elijah. Do you remember Elijah? Elijah the prophet, the one who was zealous for God, the same Elijah that also killed 400 prophets of Baal. So, what does all of this mean for us? The portion of Pinchas tells us that we cannot reach a true connection or inner oasis without setting clear boundaries against what destroys it. So I want to invite you to search within. Where in your life do you need Pinchas at this moment? Where do you need to cut through illusions and excuses in order to find inner peace? Write me in the comments.